Welcome to Constantine's Soapbox. We live, learn, and play with the goal to grow. Today, by special request, we are doing a 5-minute intro to Magic the Gathering Arena. But first, a couple housekeeping points. If you like, hit like. If you have a thought, comment, complaint, put in the comments. I really appreciate the feedback, and that constructive criticism is what allows me to grow. Onto the agenda. First, we're going to talk about how to win. Then we're going to give a simplistic overview of the cards and the different card types. Then an overview, very simplistic overview of how to play. So let's get into it. So what is the objective of the game? The objective of the game, right, is to essentially murder your opponent's life points. Depending on the game type, usually standard, you both start with 20 life. You use card effects or creatures to deal damage to each other until that life total is 0. Second way to win. Make your opponent run out of cards, like a maxed out credit card. If they don't have any cards in their library or deck, when it's their turn and they try to draw and there's no cards there, they automatically lose. And third way to win is by some Bolshevik card effect, usually blue. Let's talk about the card design. So here I already have several cards in a fake deck already loaded. So let's talk about probably the first card you're going to play in almost every match, the lands. Here you see I have some white lands, some blue lands, black lands, red lands, and green lands. And there's also some multicolor lands that you might run into with special requirements to play them. You need lands to be able to play cards. You can tell they're lands because they usually say land, and they usually also have some very beautiful scenery for their artwork. Second, let's talk about creatures. So creatures are probably the second most commonly played cards, depending on the deck. You know it's a creature because usually it has creature in its type, and it usually has a power on the left and a toughness on the right. Power is how hard it hits. Toughness is how much it can be hit. If that toughness hits 0, that is bad, and the creature is destroyed. Simple enough. So let's talk about the general card layout using the same Phoenix of Ash. For cards other than lands, you usually have the name on the top left, and on the right you have its mana cost. For Phoenix of Ash, notice it has a gray with a number in there. That gray means you can play any other land. It can be white, blue, black, red, green. Any other land, plus 2 red lands. So in this case, you need a total of 3 mana to play it. Another example is the Royal Scions. They have 1 of any other color, so you can play green, 1 blue, and 1 red. You need all 3 of those cards, untapped and available, in order to play them. Next, let's talk about the rest of the details. So after mana, you have its mugshot, or really beautiful artwork, depending. The type of card it is, its special effects, such as flying or haste in this case, which will tell you in black when you hover over the card. And then on the bottom right, its toughness and power, if it's a creature. Okay, other cards that you should be aware of includes sorceries. You can only play them on your turn. Instants, when you want to be a jerk and play it on your opponent's turn, but you can play it on yours as well. And then enchantments. Depending on the enchantment, they usually stay on the field like credit card debt. They'll stay there until they're destroyed or serve its purpose. Alright, so let's show basic overview of how to play the game. In this case, we're going to play the bot, and I'm going to use a deck that I like. So when the game starts, first you're going to have the option to mulligan. Mulligan means you reshuffle your cards, right, to draw a new hand if you don't like it, and then you put back one card into your deck and start with less. Then, when it's the first person's turn, they usually draw a card like I did right here, and I will usually play a land. Playing a land is probably the first thing you'll ever do. So I'm going to go ahead and play a land. See, it's highlighted in blue. And I end my turn. There are several phases in here, and so follow my cursor if you can see it. On the bottom right, you're going to see the phases. Well, that was a very rude opponent. So, the first phase, the upkeep phase. First thing I do is I draw a card and untap any mana that I have tapped. So if this was tapped, I would untap it. Usually the computer would do it for you. Then I enter main phase 1. This is where I can play a land. I only can play one land per turn. And then play any other spells that I want to play, whether it be creatures, sorcery, or instants. Here I'm going to play another land. Right? I am going to go to my battle phase. I don't have any creatures to battle. Then, in my main phase 2, I can play another card if I don't have any mana tapped. I'm going to play a card. And my turn. The only phase I haven't talked about is battle. Battle phase is when you attempt to try to murder your opponent. And usually, your opponent will send out attackers and you declare defenders. Your opponent cannot attack you directly unless you don't have any defenders to defend against. You can choose who you want to defend against and how many cards you want to defend against. So that pretty much sums it up. As a quick summary, you have cards, you draw them, you play creatures to try to reduce your opponent's life points, or try to deck them out, and there's several different cards that will help you along the way. I hope this was helpful if you've never played Magic before. I think Magic the Gathering Arena is a good starting point to get familiar. They'll highlight blue what you can play and things you can't. Won't be highlighted at all. Again, this was Constantine's Soapbox. Thanks you for your time. If you have any comments, feedback, or any general tips, put them in the comments. I look forward to learning about them. See you in the future. Thank you. Bye.